from Fivetran. So Ryan Muething joined Fivetran in 2018, where he actually has helped build the analytics team as they strive to enable Fivetran to make data-driven decisions. Prior to Fivetran, he worked as a consultant in financial software. So Ryan, welcome to the virtual stage and welcome to the DATAcated conference.
Hey, how's it going?
Going well. I'm really excited that you're here with us today. I'm looking forward to hearing your talk about how access to data enables Fivetran to be on the leading edge of a data-driven culture. I know you're sharing your screen, so if you'd like, I could put your slides up and I can disappear for 10 minutes.
Perfect. Yeah. Well, hello, everyone. Today I kind of wanted to touch on how we use our own products at Fivetran to promote our analytics team goal of enabling Fivetran to be data-driven. So discussion of how we're kind of taking our own medicine, so to speak. So first off, I kind of want to go over briefly what we do at Fivetran. Fivetran is a fully managed data pipeline as a service where we use predefined normalized schemas to load data from source to warehouse. We're fully hosted in the cloud using an ELT, extract, load, transform philosophy, as opposed to the traditional ETL. Our software eliminates the maintenance and configuration piece of the traditional data pipelines. We have 200 plus native connectors that require no coding, and where you just have to authenticate to start the data flow process. All it takes is a 5-minute setup, and you can get started analyzing your data from there. You also don't have to worry about the support because our support team takes care of all of that, as well as any kind of maintenance in your data pipeline. Next, I wanted to give an overview of how we see the modern analytics architecture using this ELT methodology. Starting from the top, we see a vast array of data sources, applications, database, events, files, and so on and so forth. This source data pool is expanding every year with more and more cloud-based sources as well. According to a survey of data professionals and analysts, 52% of companies have at least 10 data sources, with the vast majority of companies having some cloud-based data source as well, and that number just continues to grow and grow. So how does the analyst get from data source to insights? First, all sources should be maintained in normalized schema in a cloud-based data warehouse, such as Snowflake, BigQuery, or Redshift. The extract and load processes should be reliable, and all schema changes should happen automatically in the background. Next, the modeling or transform layer occurs on top of the source data replica in the warehouse. This has the huge benefit of always having the original source data, which we can always return to if business logic requires us to make some sort of changes in that modeling layer. Once we have that modeling layer, it powers all of our downstream data products, such as BI, ML, or really any other analytics needs. Our modeling layer becomes a source of truth and all downstream data aligns. So how does Fivetran help us achieve this vision? With Fivetran, we can let the product handle the extract and load processes while we focus on what we're best at, the transformation or modeling layers. We're able to spend the vast majority of our time data modeling and driving insights for our business stakeholders. We can focus on figuring out how we can integrate all of these various data sources to drive value and not worry about having to build and maintain data pipelines. To kind of give a little background on how we've gotten to this point, I wanted to show this timeline, which shows kind of how the data management process has changed, moving away from processes which were maintained by IT and data engineers previously to today, where analysts are able to work directly with business users to identify the important sources of data, then immediately get access and act upon that data. One of the most important aspects of this change is that the analyst is the person who best knows all the different requirements and is able to implement changes immediately, whereas before there was often a cycle of asking for a specific piece of data, waiting for that data to get added to the warehouse, finally getting access, then only to realize an additional component or data set was required for the analysis, and then repeating that whole process, adding time to the total project. This is no longer an issue where analysts are able to run this process and be able to act a little bit more quickly and kind of change that pipeline on the fly. So Fivetran has allowed our analytics team at Fivetran just keep up with the growth and fast-paced change of our company. One excellent example that just kind of came up in the past couple of days I wanted to go over was our recruiting team just decided to switch systems from Weber to Greenhouse, along with all corresponding and reporting analytics. We were made aware of these changes last Friday afternoon, along with the rest of the company in a Slack message, which isn't the best place for us to get this news, but thanks to Fivetran, we were kind of able to go along with the punches. Using traditional ETL tools, getting a new data set into the warehouse could take a couple of months, and our team wouldn't have access to their reporting and data during that time. But with Fivetran, we're able to connect Greenhouse to our warehouse and have data flowing on Monday. So, a couple of business hours difference times that we're able to get access and start analyzing data. We will still need a few weeks to go through and analyze this new data coming in so we can understand how it fits into our current data model and how we can best implement the new data set, maintaining their existing metrics while understanding opportunities for new insights. However, it highlights the analyst's ability to focus their time on data modeling and insight delivery, while Fivetran is able to handle the extract and load processes. It also has the added benefit of cutting the project duration and time to results from an order of magnitude of months to just weeks. All of this comes back to the fact that data access and ensuring data reliability is very, very time consuming and probably not the best use of your analytics team's time. Here are some more of the stats from the previously mentioned survey of analysts. A couple of the points I wanted to highlight was the 60% of analysts report data schemas change monthly or even more frequently than that. And then 90% of analysts report data sources were unreliable in the last 12 months. These are two kind of metrics that really highlight this, just how quickly data is changing and how if we're not able to keep up with that, your reliability as a data team can really be hindered. They just highlight some of the challenges in building a data-driven culture. Timely access to our required sources and building trust in the data that it's correct, so important and foundational to allow a data-driven culture to thrive. So what is the end result here? So what Fivetran allows us to do on the analytics team at Fivetran allows us to strive towards our goal of building a curated analytics schema, which takes all of our source data into account while maintaining our principles of providing a clean, reliable data set, maintaining a source of truth, providing a data set that's BI agnostic and that can be used for all of our downstream data needs. We use tools such as Looker for more of our company level metrics, while we might have some more ad hoc tools such as Sigma or Google Sheets that were used for more single point in time reporting, but we want them to be using the same data source so that if we look at results across these products, we see the same metrics. And then one of the other huge benefits is this high data literacy for all of our data users, that we're using a single model that they can say, this is the source of truth, this is how I get from one point to another, and I'm building this schema. So all of these things lead to our successful analytics foundation, where it promotes our data-driven culture at Fivetran and really gets everyone behind the analytics team at Fivetran. So yeah, that's really what I wanted to highlight today. And I was hoping to spend kind of the rest of the time just answering any questions about anything, any questions people might have.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Ryan. It was really interesting to learn more about Fivetran, what you guys do, and just letting the audience know if you go to fivetran.com, you can learn a whole lot more. But for now, let's go ahead and go to some questions. I'll start with one from Scott Taylor. He's asking, since you use Fivetran internally, what type of data management effort was needed to get going? I think he's referring to the recruiting team example.
Yeah, it's honestly one of the easiest things ever. So, whenever we're getting a new source coming in, all it really is working with the team to making sure we have a good API endpoint set up. So we work with them to get access that is going to have access to all the data that we need, and then really just putting it in, getting going, and letting the data flow from there. It's so easy to get started, and it really just cuts down. I'd say we spend on the team as a whole minutes a week doing data maintenance. It's just such a small part of our job now, where we just really are focusing on the modeling and any sort of insight or alerting. That's where we're able to focus all of our time now.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that. A comment here from Bianca on the 90%. No wonder there is data trust issues. I actually wrote that down too. 90% of data sources were unreliable in the last 12 months. I mean, that's just crazy. That's crazy.
That's all. There was a great survey that it's available on our website, and I can send out a link. But yeah, there's a lot of great insights in that data survey, and that was one of the ones that really just pointed out to me. And I definitely believe it. And I think the previous presentation mentioned that data trust is just such a big issue. We're constantly trying to just making sure people believe that what we're showing them is correct. And once you have that belief, it's just such a huge part of the battle in making that data-driven culture.
Awesome, thank you. And then last question from me is, how do the Fivetran pre-built connectors that you were mentioning earlier actually help companies centralize their operational data?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things is these pre-built schemas. So as you're have all these different data sources coming in, you're able to, we provide pre-built schemas so that then you can go, once you're in your modeling layer, you're able to combine all these disparate data sources and build this curated schema, which I was talking about before, so that if you have leads in Marketo and then contacts in Salesforce, you're able to see that in a schema beforehand, and then once you get to your modeling, you're able to combine all those things so you have this single blend. So I think that's one of the best parts of how Fivetran views the data schema.
Okay, awesome. Well, Ryan, thank you so much for your time. So like I mentioned, guys, go ahead and check out fivetran.com.